Hello once again, dear students. So, in the last video, your fifth number unit for merger and acquisition, we were discussing about the legal framework. Legal framework, it means the laws which are to be followed by the companies, those who are looking for merger and acquisition. So, in the last video, you have seen about the number of laws in which the company law 2013, then Contract Act 1872, and a specific relief act 1963. Then the SEBI Act is there. Then NCLT approval is required. Then prohibition of insider trading. Then delisting of equity shares if there is the case of delisting of listed company. Then merger control law. And in this video, I'm going to discuss about the exchange control law. So besides the provision of Companies Act 2013, there are law like FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. And the rules and regulations including the Foreign Exchange Management Rules 2019 and FDI policy. So you see, when you are looking for cross-border merger acquisition, definitely the other company and the next company, this is not an Indian one, and it belongs to the another country. So there is the requirement to follow the guidelines and the rules, circular, and the laws under FEMA, under Foreign Exchange Management Rules 2019 and FDI policy. These are to be followed. Next is the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. IBC. In short, you can say IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. IBC has become popular because of acquisition of companies in India. IBC provides a framework for insolvency resolution of insolvent company. It means the company, those who have become insolvent, so they are providing the framework for insolvency resolution. So at first stage, they try to sell the company on a going concern basis. If they fail, then there is the liquidation of the asset of the insolvent company can take place. This has also been followed. The IBC 2016 code has to be followed, which is popular because of they define the route for acquisition of companies in India. Next is the Income Tax Act 1961. Yes, this is also one of the important act which is to be followed. So in addition, tax treatment of merger and acquisitions in India, IT Act 1961 has also issued anti-avoidance regulation in 2017, in which arrangement may be void if it is an impermissible avoidance arrangement. So IT Act, they are also saying that there should be a tax treatment of merger and acquisition in India, and it should be permissible. Then only it can be approved. Then the GST is there. So while there will be no GST incidence in case of slump sale, it will be applicable in case of asset purchase. So when there is the purchase of assets, the GST rates will be applied. And next is the Indian Stamp Act 1899. 99. So when there is the transfer of any property, then there is the requirement of payment of stamp duty. Stamp duty is to be paid. So NCLT order for merger or demerger, depending on the state specific stamp law, stamp duty on share transfer of 0.015%, stamp duty on share purchase agreements, stamp duty on shareholder agreement, joint venture agreement. So Indian Stamp Act says that if there is the case of merger acquisition, Indian Stamp Act and the stamp duty is to be paid. Finally, you see the panel laws, Indian Panel Code 1860 and Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 also talks about the penalty. In case if there is the dispute in the merger acquisition and there are fraud and cheating. So there is IPC and CPC, they are discussing about the penalty if there is a case of fraud. And lastly, this is the sector-specific legislation. It must be noted that if there is a merger related to the banks, merger related to the mines, merger related to the drugs and cosmetic, so the sector-specific legislation are to be followed. If it is related to banks, then Banking Regulation Act 1949. If there is insurance merger or the merger of insurance companies, Insurance Act 1938, Mines and Minerals Act 1957, Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940, and if there is the involvement of telecommunication companies, then TRAI, Telecommunication Regulatory Authority of India 1997 will be applied to the transactions of merger and acquisition. So this is all about the legal framework of merger and acquisition. Let us have a review of all the laws which are involved for the merger acquisition transaction. So in the beginning, we have seen that the law may differ and the regulations may differ depending upon the conditions and the situations. If there is the involvement of private company or public company, listed or unlisted company, resident, non-resident companies, and a specific areas, sectors related companies, the law may differ, or you can say the rules may differ. The first is the Company Law, Companies Act 2013. It provides the legal framework. Then Contract Act 1872, Specific Relief Act 1963, SEBI, NCLT, Merger Control Law, Exchange Control Law, IBC, Income Tax Act 1961, GST, and Indian Stamp Act 1899. And lastly, the panel laws, IPC, CPC, also define about the penalty in case of fraud and sector-specific legislation. It means if the merger is related to a specific sector, then the specific sector legislation has to be followed. For example, you have seen Banking Regulation Act, Insurance Act, Drugs and Cosmetic Act, Telecommunication, it means Telecom Regulatory Authority of India Act 1997. So this is all about the laws, rules, circulars, notices of the different acts, different governing bodies, which are to be followed for the merger acquisition process. Thank you. At the end of this video, I would like to say that in this way, I have covered your syllabus. So saying to all of the students, you see all the videos, the materials have been already shared to your classroom. So that from there you can read the materials, you listen the video and get the complete idea about your syllabus. In this way, I am closing your syllabus here. And in coming days, there will be the assessment. There will be the assessment of your you can say the understanding and learning that what you have understood, what you have learned. Very soon, we will be setting the quizzes and we have to appear in the quiz so that we can get assessment that what you have learned and what you are trying to do to improve your marks. So thank you for now. Hope to see your happy and smiling faces. And it can happen only when you will labor hard in your life. You will have to give devotion for building your future. Thank you.